Hello and welcome to my little crafting review of my top 5 commercial Aran weight yarns. Here I'm just hoping to show you a few of the yarns that I've used in the past and that I really like for both accessories and sweaters, and just talk a bit about why I like them and maybe add some cons at the end, so pros and cons. And I'll start with number 5 and work up to my favourite yarn of all time. If you've been watching my podcast as well, you'll know what that yarn is likely to be already. No surprises there, but we'll do a countdown anyway, just so that I can go through them all for you. So without further ado, let's get going. Number 5. This is the Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran, and I'll show you the ball band here. So I've got a yarn that will have to go in front of my face. So Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran, and the composition of this yarn is 55% merino, 33% acrylic and 12% cashmere, and that combination makes it really lovely and soft. I buy my Cashmerino Aran from Crafts. At the moment the price is $4.99 for a 50-gram ball, which is 90 meters worth of yardage. The reason why I really like this yarn is that it's washable in the washing machine, so it's great for babies' knits or grandparents' knits. And it's still really soft and really lovely wool because of the cashmere content and the merino content. So it's not prickly at all, it's lovely soft yarn, and it's not too expensive either. And you'll see that all of these yarns that I'm talking about are commercial yarns, so they tend not to be too pricey. I've used this for baby sweaters and also for knit for my grandmother, so I've kind of used it several times. I'm not sure necessarily on how well the baby sweaters have worn, because I'd have to check in with the parents in order to find that out, and I know baby sweaters don't stay the right size for very long, so they've probably grown out of them before the sweaters have had a chance to pill or anything. So I'm going to show you something that I've made out of this yarn, and that is the Kettle Valley shawl by Knox Mountain Knit Co. So this is my shawl, and you can see the yarn has really lovely vibrant colours as a selection, and it's really soft. So this shawl comprises of the Prussian blue colour, which is the blue. I used 3 balls of 50 grams for all of that colour. You can see it's used throughout. The Ecru colour, which is the off-white. Again, 3 balls of that. And then 2 balls of the coral colour for this section. So overall, what's that? 8 balls of yarn. So you're looking at that being kind of £40. Thereabouts. So all of the projects I'm going to show you in these yarns are under £50. It's, like I said, very soft and lightweight. I'm not so keen on having acrylic content, but because this yarn is really soft and it still includes merino and cashmere, I'm not opposed to it for this one, just because it works so well for baby knits and knits for my grandparents. And overall I would really like to try the tonal version next, so they've produced a tonal version. I believe that Debbie Bliss is exclusively on Lovecraft, so that is the only place you're likely to be able to buy the yarn. However, they do offer a lot of discounts and things like that as just weekly offers, so you can take advantage of that quite easily. So that is number 5. On to number 4. Now, you'll have seen this yarn recently if you've been watching my podcast, because I only came across it last year. and that is West Yorkshire Spinners Croft Shetland. So this is the Melby colour, and I recently used this to knit my throwback cardigan. So in terms of composition, it's 100% Shetland wool. However, it's not scratchy at all. It's a very soft yarn, I would say, for something that is non-superwash and kind of a Shetland yarn. I bought mine from Wild and Woolly, and you can get it at the moment for £8.50 for 100 grams, which is 166 metres. Therefore it's fairly affordable at that price in terms of knitting a sweater out of it. To give you an idea, I used 5 skeins of the Belmont colour for my throwback cardigan, which is the red, and then probably less than 30 grams of the other 3 colours. So overall you do obviously have to buy the different colours for this kind of colour work effect, but not too bad. So what's that, kind of estimating, yeah, so under £50 thereabouts for the sweater itself anyway. And then obviously I'm going to use those other colours for different things now that I've finished my sweater, so I'll probably make a few hats out of those. So overall, kind of my commentary is that it's fairly affordable, very soft despite being Shetland wool, and nice and warm. It does pill quite quickly, I would say, so I'll show you on my throwback cardigan, which you'll know I've knit fairly recently. So it has got a bit of pilling going on. I have worn it maybe 5 times, but I'm hoping that the Gleaner will make short work of getting rid of those pills. And yeah, overall a lovely yarn to work with, lovely and soft, lovely to knit with, and makes a nice sweater. They also have a good range of colours, which is always a good thing. There you go, so that is number 4. On to number 3. Now this is a commercial yarn, even though it's hand dyed, and that is Malabrigo Rios. I'll show you the label because I actually have one of those with me. There you go. Is it going to focus? Come on. Maybe I should put it the right way around. So this is Malabrigo Rios in the pearl colour. And the composition is 100% superwash wool. I buy my Malabrigo Rios from woolstack.co.uk. Currently they've got the yarn at £9.95 for 100 grams, and that's 192 metres, so you get a reasonable yardage out of that. It's lovely and soft, and the colours are amazing. I'm going to show you what I'm wearing at the same time. So this is my On the Grass jumper by Joji Locatelli. I used just under 5 skeins of the Azul Profundo colourway to knit this. However, what I would say with Malabrigo Rios is that it's great for accessories and things like that. I've knit a lot of accessories out of it as gifts. However, for a sweater it does pill quite quickly, and because it's superwash it also stretches quite a lot. So you get a very different effect to something which might be knit in the other yarns that I'm talking about today. However, it's one of my staple yarns for accessories and gifts. So I'll show you a bit of my On the Grass. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, the colours are really lovely and vivid. They are hand dyed, so you will need to alternate skeins if you knit a sweater out of this, and I did that. I'm going to try the helical knitting method next time I knit a sweater in hand dyed yarn. But really beautiful colours. It is blowing out quite a lot, apologies for that. It's actually quite a nice sunny day today. However, if I can, maybe if I sit down again, I can show you. Yeah, so it has gone quite fluffy, but to be honest, it doesn't take away the effect of a lovely jumper. That's my only criticism of knitting sweaters out of it, and the fact that it's stretchy, so you kind of get that give going on, and you have to really readjust your jumper before you go out in it because it's all When you first put it on, it's all kind of stretchy all over the place. Yeah, so I don't know if I would knit a jumper out of this again, but I do really love this one, and I've had a lot of nice compliments on it as well because of the colour and the way the yarn looks. So really beautiful yarn, definitely recommended. Just to show you one of those accessories, I knit this hat for my husband and he loves it and wears it all the time. This is another of their variegated colourways. I will see if I can find out what it is again. I can't remember. This is the, what's the hat called? So I can't remember the colourway, but I'll see if I can find out and add it to the description below. But this one was a really quick knit. I think it took overall just under 1 skein of yarn, and it's quite a simple hat, just really straightforward, but he's worn it quite a lot and actually it's a little bit fuzzy on the top, but it's not too bad. I don't know if you can even see on the camera, and certainly doesn't really pose a problem when you're wearing a hat anyway. So yeah, really lovely yarn, definitely recommended. And that is my number 3. Let's go on to number 2, and that is Cascade 220. So this is a yarn that I haven't used very much. I knit my first sweater out of it, which I'll show you in a minute, and it is overall composition is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. You can buy it in the UK from woolwarehouse.co.uk at £6.99 per 100 grams, which gives you a whopping 200 meters. So it's really good affordable yarn, which is why I chose it for my first sweater. I've been using the heathered versions, so this is an example of that. Let me see if I can find the colour of this one. So it's colour 8836. And this is lovely kind of blue-grey, and yeah, it's Cascade 220 heathers. So to show you my sweater, this is my worsted boxy by Hohi Locatelli, so 2 Hohi patterns today, and this is what it looks like. This colour, I believe, is the Sky Summer Heathers colour. I'm not 100% sure, again I'll have a look, but you can see really lovely colours. This is one of those yarns where they have so many colours to choose from. Again, another reason to use it as a yarn for sweaters, and it knits up really nicely. I know I'm using a good yarn when my cat wants to sit on it all the time because it's so soft. So it is really soft. It is non-superwash, so it is hand wash only, but a really nice basic yarn to use. The cons, I would say, is just that there has been a bit of talk about, I think the wife of the previous owner spreading hate speech on the internet. So if you want to use this yarn, just have a little Google. I know you can't always trust what it says online or people's opinions, or where the sources of information have come from, but just check to see if you're comfortable with still buying this yarn given the information that you can find. That's what I'd advise. I have personally not bought this yarn since I think it must have been 2017, just because I have a sweater's quantity of it to use for something else. And I fell in love with my number 1 yarn, which I'll talk about in a minute. I will double check how much wool I actually used for this sweater, but you can get a lot out of it. Like I said, it's 200 meters for 100 grams, so that's a good quantity. It goes a long way as well. This uses a huge amount of yarn. It's quite an oversized sweater, and I think I still had a couple of skeins left at the end. So I obviously miscalculated somewhere, but that probably means I didn't actually use that many skeins of yarn. So super affordable, and definitely worth using if you feel like you can ethically do so. And finally, surprise, surprise, my number one yarn is in Aran weight, and that is Derarum Natara Juliat. And of course you'll think I'm very predictable about this. So Juliat is 100% organic carded merino. I buy it from greatbritishYarns.co.uk. Currently it is £12 per 100 grams there, but that £12 gets you 250 meters of yarn, so it does go a really long way. I believe Brexit has meant the prices have gone up a bit recently. You can order from Derarum Natara itself, but I think it's about £10 delivery to the UK. I'm lucky in that I have family in France, so I can get that yarn delivered to them. So I buy it from greatbritishYarns.co.uk in the UK, and I do get quite a lot from there actually. It is hand wash only, and that's absolutely fine for me, but you know, just bear that in mind if you're buying wool and you want to be able to put something in the washing machine. It's really, really soft, and that's lovely for non-superwash yarn. It's also ethically produced, which definitely gets my vote. It's really lovely and warm, and I think I've said this on the podcast before. I have knit the Georgetown pullover or cardigan. I've knit the Georgetown cardigan out of it, and that's this lovely cardigan. This is in the colour Poivre Blanc. Apologies, I got that wrong in my podcast episode where I talked about it. So Poivre Blanc is the colour. This is a lovely kind of mottled beige, but it goes with absolutely everything, and I wear this on a daily basis. Because it's so lovely and warm and soft, and you can just chuck it on, it just is everything I want it to be. I have knit 2 sweaters out of Derarum Natara Juliat so far. I have 3 more sweater quantities to knit, so I'll be moving on to those very soon. And yeah, I can't say anything bad really about it. It's got good yardage, it's got great colours, although not quite as good a colour range as something like Cascade 220 yet. So for example, with regards to it going a long way, this cardigan used 4.5 balls of the Juliat yarn, so that's, I think I'd have spent about £10 on it at the time. So that's what, yeah, £45 for a really good long, super long cardigan, with a shawl colour, so that gives you kind of even extra to knit and keep you warm. It does pill, I would say. However, I have worn this cardigan a lot and it's not too bad. So I'll hold it up so you can see. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's too bad overall. I haven't put the gleaner on it yet, so I will need to glean the cardigan and just get rid of some of those pills soon. It is absolutely my desert island yarn. I could knit with this yarn forever and be super happy with it. Like I said, I've got 3 more sweater quantities, so definitely my go-to yarn, definitely my number one. And if you're happy to use kind of non-superwash soft merino organic wool at this price, then I definitely urge you to try it if you haven't already. I've heard it's much better than other similar yarns for pilling actually from other podcasters, but I need to try some more yarn really to know for sure that that's the case. I am not sponsored, by the way, this is just my opinion. So to summarise, I've talked about 5 different yarns today. My number 5 is Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran, which I would highly recommend for baby things and shawls and anything comfy and cosy. My number 4 is West Yorkshire Spinners Croft Shetland, and there's also a tweed version that I used for my cardigan. Great for sweaters and accessories overall. My 3rd one is Malabrigo Rios, which is a hand-dyed yarn but mass-produced, and that is really great for accessories, perhaps not so good for sweaters because it's very stretchy. It is a superwash yarn. And my next one is Cascade 220, which is fantastic for sweaters, but perhaps worth checking out if you are happy with the ethical reasons behind maybe not using the yarn. And then finally, my number 1 desert island yarn is Derarum Natara Juliat, which is my absolute favourite. Great for sweaters, great for accessories, absolutely fantastic for everything, and doesn't pill too badly considering it is merino. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful and gives you an opportunity to try out some of these yarns. You can find me on Ravelry as Ankiwoo and on Instagram as cinnamonswirl.designs. I'll pop any details that I've spoken about in the description box down below. And I hope this finds you well. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you in my podcast next time. Bye!